Salutations, my Fallout lovers. It is Matty here, finally, with my full review for the Fallout 4 Survival Mode Overhaul. I know it's been delayed a lot. I've been constantly saying, like, hold on, just a couple more hours, just gotta make sure I got enough time to fully fortify my opinion on this. And I finally feel like I have put enough time into it. But mind you, I didn't really have to put too much time into it because it's not like an original game review where you gotta learn about the story, characters, the world, does all the ideas work together, is it fun, all that type of stuff. And this was just kind of like, okay, gameplay, do the mechanics work? And that's kind of all the research I really had to do. Now, mind you, I did a lot of additional research for you guys in the community and kind of took a lot of your feedback into account because this time I have the advantage, unlike with like my original Fallout 4 review where I was just kind of going off my own opinion of the game and what I experienced, and all of a sudden it gets in 20 million people's hands and all of a sudden the endings are the same and there's a bunch of bugs and all that crap. And so I wanted to make sure I really got this one right for you guys because I really want to take this seriously. And so let's start off with some of the complaints, but I do have a lot of great things to say about this, but I do want to focus on one issue, which is the bugs with the game. Naturally, this kind of comes with most Bethesda products, unfortunately, and it seems like less and less people are giving it a free pass, and Bethesda really needs to kind of work these kinks out because now people are thinking that sleep saving in the Fallout 4 Survival Mode Overhaul is kind of not an ideal option. Now, me personally, in my experience, did not have any crashes, did not have any issues, and really for Fallout 4, I never have, but that's just my own personal opinion. People have, though. They'll say that all of a sudden they need a driver update or something, or the drivers crashed, or all of a sudden the game just shut off on them, or all of a sudden it just said Fallout 4 stops working. Just stuff like this where the game is unstable, and they're in a 45-minute deep run, and all of a sudden they just lose all their progress because the game can't handle itself for whatever reason, and that's really unfair, and that sucks. And so for me, when I read this stuff, I started getting a little paranoid, and I'm like, okay, so anytime I see a bed, I'm sleeping. That's basically exactly what I did, and I didn't make use of the adrenaline rank in the game, which is a big mechanic. Basically what adrenaline does in the survival mode overhaul is when you go ahead and you kill people, you build up your rank and you do additional damage. So it really helps when you're exploring because you're doing crazy amounts of damage, but obviously the trade-off is if you die, you got to go back a while. So it's kind of that interesting kind of give and take choice. Really great mechanic, but it's not put into effect because me, I'm so paranoid my game's gonna crash. I don't want to lose all this time and sit there and be like, what am I doing with my life? So I kind of have to save my game anytime I get a good chance to, right? And that's kind of one issue with the survival mode overhaul is that Fallout 4 seems to not be a stable enough game to handle a sleep saving kind of system. So what I feel is what is going to happen is basically modders are going to change that, make it an option to just pause your game and save, something along those lines. Maybe Bethesda will do it when they fully roll out the game, but for me personally, I just ended up sleep saving anytime I possibly could, said fuck adrenaline. I just want to make sure I don't lose my progress. The other bug that people have been experiencing is the carry weight bug, which really is kind of a benefit more than anything. All of a sudden you have like 25 more pounds to carry, but the issue is that it's inconsistency because then you'll like reload your game or something like that, and all of a sudden you lose 25 pounds and it's like you're over encumbered, and it's just kind of the game tricking you, messing with you, and people are just constantly fluctuating where all of a sudden they have 10 less pounds and 25 more, and it seems like a broken code in a sense. So that's one issue that people have been pointing out. I'm imagining that will be something that is fixed in a patch. But seriously, I've complained enough because this mode is fantastic when it comes to gameplay, and I gotta say it's made me appreciate other facets of Fallout 4 that I wasn't really a huge fan of over time, such as the legendary weapons. I really like the focus on unique weapons and armor in Bethesda games like Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, obviously the Fallout games. The fun part for me, as a YouTuber at least, is collecting the unique weapons and armor just to kind of have them. I barely use them, it's just having them. That's the fun part. And Fallout 4 had less of a focus on that, and I kind of thought that was annoying because it was sort of in replacement for these legendary weapons, which normal enemies drop as a legendary title, and they drop all these interesting weapons with different buffs and stuff. And for me personally, I didn't really use them that much. And in the survival mode, I loved them. I loved them because if I found something that did like 50% damage against super mutants, and I'm in kind of like the heart of the Commonwealth near Diamond City, it helped a lot having a weapon that did additional damage against super mutants because all of a sudden I was much more effective and I could conserve my ammo much more. And once I was done with that weapon, I dropped it and I went on my merry way to another region of the world. And that's something I really appreciated. I don't know if this was a foresight for Bethesda or just kind of a mechanic that ended up working out. Not to say that legendary stuff wasn't useful in the base game, because it certainly was. All my armor that I use is usually legendary, but now I just kind of tinker around and use full armor sets and just kind of deck my guy out with whatever the hell he wants. But in survival mode, legendary really pays off, and it's really exciting to see a legendary enemy because it's that trade-off. It's like, okay, this guy's going to be really tough, but if I kill him, hopefully he's going to drop something that's really going to help out my character right now. One thing I did notice though was when I was reading online about Fallout 4 Survival Mode Overhaul is that character builds are going to be a little less varied now. You're not going to see many different builds in Fallout 4. You're definitely not going to see melee builds because if you know that's just a death ticket right there, man. Okay, you're not going to see big gun builds ever because missiles weigh 7 pounds. Obviously you got the Fat Man or the missile launcher, those weigh a ton, and obviously space is very important in the survival mode overhaul. So basically you're not going to see big guns, and I doubt you're going to see kind of like commando builds which are focused on fully auto weapons because you want to conserve ammo, but you also don't want to fly through it like fully auto weapons do, and also fully auto weapons don't do as much damage in Fallout 4. Now don't get me wrong, if you have a fully auto weapon, you got the fully upgraded commando perk, you got an upgraded fully auto weapon, yeah, you're going to do a lot of damage. So I don't really think you're going to see that much in survival mode, but what I feel like you're going to see a lot of is like the gunslinger, the rifleman builds, kind of focused around semi-auto shots. You're going to see a lot of stealth builds. What I'm saying is you're kind of going to see a lot of people focusing on the same things, obviously building weapons, medic, you know, the stuff that keeps you alive. And so it's going to be very perk focused, and a lot of people are kind of concerned, is it just going to be up to my personal skill? Can I kind of build out whatever I want? And basically, in my opinion, it's going to be kind of a little more narrowed, which isn't a problem because I think it's more fun to experiment with different perks and try out different things in exchange for this brand new mode. But yeah, I know a lot of people are really build happy in Bethesda games because they like to start new playthroughs, try out different builds and stuff, and just know that in survival mode, yeah, if you want to try like a melee build or like a big guns build to really challenge yourself, good luck, but it seems like kind of big guns now are kind of the pick up and use real quickly, and anyone running at you with melee in Fallout 4 survival mode, it's like, all right, free kill, and that's it. Now this one really goes without saying, but I love the emphasis of the collection of food, water, and obviously focusing on your sleep, all that stuff. I really do like that a lot in Fallout 4. I think it does a great job carrying over from New Vegas Hardcore into Fallout 4 because I feel like in Fallout, with the settlement modes, you can plant your own food, you can obviously make good use of all your resources there, you can take over settlements temporarily, kind of plant a couple of things, take whatever you need, and then go on your merry way. It's really useful in that regard. Also, the water purifiers help when you have enough resources with you. You can go ahead and put one down, create your own water, and then boom, you're good to go. Obviously, like I showed in my tips video, I really like the addition of filling up empty bottles with water, purifying them at a fire. And then the focus on sleeping is an interesting trade-off as well, because as you sleep less and less, you can get like insomnia and stuff, but obviously you want to sleep to save your game, but you don't want to sleep because obviously, as I mentioned earlier, even though I kind of negated it a little bit in my playthrough, you obviously have that adrenaline thing, so you got to take all this stuff into account. I also kind of liked how harsh the game was on you if you didn't properly treat your character with food and water and all that stuff over time. Like, I gotta say, ladies and gentlemen, that I really appreciate how harsh they were on you if you didn't properly like feed your character, have them drink, or let them sleep. The stat differences were insane, and I really liked that. Also, the illness system was really cool. It wasn't like New Vegas where it was just like, oh, you lost one endurance and that's it. Like in Fallout 4, if you go past, I think, like peckish, like it's an insane endurance drop, which really sucks because endurance is health, endurance is sprinting. You get what I'm saying, where like stuff like this makes a huge difference. So it was really nice to see them kind of be harsh about it. Don't get me wrong, it's similar in New Vegas in the sense where, yes, it takes away just stats, and that's kind of it to a degree, but it's still very harsh, which I think is really good. So with all of that said, the question lies, is this the ideal way to play Fallout 4, the way that you should always start every brand new playthrough in Fallout 4? And quite honestly, this is my opinion, okay? It's really subjective. It's depending on what type of Fallout player you are, what type of gamer you actually are. Do you like a grueling challenge in every single game? Are you all about doing everything you can to get to that next save point? You know, it's all up to the gamer, really. In my honest opinion, though, this could be the ideal way to play Fallout 4, but I just think of New Vegas and Hardcore, how I think that's the ideal way to play that game and how it all worked well in that game. And to me, Fallout 4 is less of when you start a new playthrough in survival mode, it's not like you're going to be thinking, oh, this is going to be my Institute run, or this is going to be the Brotherhood of Steel character I build. Not like in New Vegas where it's like, oh, this one's going to be with the NCR, for example. No, it's like in Fallout 4, when you start up a new survival mode playthrough, it's just about getting through areas and living, which I guess suggests the title, survival mode. You are surviving. It's all about the gameplay, in my opinion. All the mechanics work fantastic together. They make it a really grueling mode, but really all your mind is going to be focused on constantly is making sure your character has enough to constantly survive. Now, you can add that additional challenge by following the story, and once you get deeper into the survival mode, it really does start to get a little more easier on you because You have better weapons, better armor, better healing, and all that stuff. Obviously, higher level perks come with that benefit, but that's such a hard grind to get to. And like I said, since this game was kind of built around the idea of the base game where you can fast travel wherever you want, explore wherever you want, obviously save whenever you want, and it's all about that stuff. That's what a Bethesda Game Studios game is. I don't think this is really the ideal way to play the game, because you kind of want to make sure that you can see everything and do everything like Bethesda Game Studios games usually offer in their product. So at the end of the day, it's really up to you, to tell you the truth. But for me, this is not the way I'm going to be playing Fallout 4. I'm not going to use this save file to play through DLCs and stuff unless it's like a challenge on stream or something like that. I'm really not going to be trying to do it all in survival mode like a lot of people might be. For me, I'm just going to stick with kind of like my base game character and just keep doing what I do with him and really just kind of messing around in survival mode, and that's basically it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Those are my final thoughts on the Fallout 4 survival mode. I will, like I said, be bringing you guys a build guide once we know when it's coming to consoles, because I want everyone to kind of get in on it, because we already have PC players in on it, but I know a lot of console players are kind of sitting on their hands just kind of waiting to get into this survival mode. So I kind of want to wait until we know it's coming to consoles so that I can make a build for everyone to check out. So yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to that, and I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on this video. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this survival mode, so let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. The links are in the description. Check out sugarbomb.com, the place by Bethesda fans for Bethesda fans. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.